In the first part of chapter 12, which we're studying now, the Tanya is telling us that every single person can and should be the Benoni. And the Benoni, which literally means the intermediary kind of person, not the tzaddik, not the perfect righteous person, not the rasha, not the sinful wicked person. Who's the Benoni? So the Alter Rebbe told us something very deep. The Benoni is somebody who has perfection of behavior. They never fault, they never sin, not in the realm of actions, they don't perform actual sin, not in the realm of speech, they don't speak words of sin, not in the realm of thought, they don't think sinful thoughts. Those three garments of the soul, the ways of expression, behavioral parts of our persona, our thoughts, our words, and our behavior, our deeds, are always fulfilling the will of God, the instructions of the Torah, doing something appropriate, doing something positive and constructive and holy. We're never, ever failing in that regard. That being said, if you would just judge a person superficially, and whether it's you're judging yourself superficially or you're judging somebody else, and you look at them and you say, wow, they're always on top of their game. They're always doing the right thing. They're never making a mistake. They're never doing something. They're never saying something inappropriate. You're never thinking something, never actually planning to execute a sin through your thoughts. That has the appearance of a very righteous person. That has the appearance of a perfect person. And yet the Alter Rebbe says there is the external, superficial way of how you appear, and there's also the other side of the story within, the story of what's going on inside your heart. What are your motives? What are your desires? What are your inner battles, inner voices telling you? And in that level, the Benoni is completely not a tzaddik. He's not a perfect righteous person at all, because not only is his godly soul active within him, but his animal soul is very active as well. And so it's always presenting a challenge, a struggle to try to overpower the territory, the body, the functional behavioral side of the person to cause him to sin. And yet the Benoni always controls him or herself. So it could be that during prayer, like we learned in the previous class, or during certain times where a person creates a very heightened state of being through the profound meditation of the mind, and they elevate their mind to truly immerse themselves in a comprehensive way, understanding through all the faculties of the mind, the truth of God, of the Torah, of life, of the world, of the purpose of creation. And at those moments of a very heightened intellectual awareness that spills over into the heart to cause the heart to be able to feel that way in a very powerful way, in a very direct, channeled way, the level of love and the level of care and concern and awe for that which is real and that which is true and that which is important. At those times, the person is in a true state of being like the tzaddik. But the moment the prayer ends, or the moment that heightened state of meditation and spiritual experience ends, then all of that falls away. And the animal soul that has sort of fallen asleep for those moments reawakens and once again creates all kinds of challenge, all kinds of desires, of lusts, of urges to get a person to do or to think or to say something which is inappropriate, which is sinful. It's just that the Benoni is somebody, because of the virtue of mind rules the heart. And no matter how much the heart wants you to do that which is inappropriate, the mind always retains its sense of intellect, its sense of logic, its sense of common sense, and it's the value, the values of light over dark, which is wisdom over foolishness. So no matter how foolish the urge may be and how powerful it may be, the mind says, no, that's not okay, that's unhealthy, that's inappropriate, and therefore can control all of the behaviors of the person at any given time. But that's not a tzaddik. The tzaddik is a description of what's going on inside. Nobody can see that other than yourself. And even within yourself, you may not always be clearly understanding of who you are and where you're holding, which is why it's hard to judge who is the Benoni, who is the tzaddik. But the Benoni is somebody who externally, behaviorally, is perfect. Now, what the heart, what the animal soul will try to do is send all kinds of messages, all kinds of urges to the mind, let's think about, let's contemplate, let's plan a sin, something that feels pleasurable, feels desirable, it's an urge that I have, that you cannot control. The message going to your mind, you cannot control. The mind has the power of the choice, however. Should I entertain this thought? Should I take it seriously? Should I allow myself in my thoughts to think about entertaining, engaging in the sin? That's the choice which the Benoni says, no, I'm not going to dedicate, I'm not going to allow those thoughts to contaminate and my mind and make it so impure. And that's the control that we have. But whether the desire and the urge elevates from the heart to the mind to try to tempt us to think about that all the time, that we have no control over, which is why the Zohar says that there are 3 sins that a person can never avoid every single day. One of them is hirhurei avera, sins, thoughts of sin. Thoughts of sin, meaning the temptation that arises in our thoughts to try to get us to think and entertain about the sin. We can never control that because the heart is, the animal soul is alive and well, trying to overtake us all the time. That's the end of today's class. Be well. God bless you.